Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, and John Vias, Peter Brown with the weather, Chris Flaherty with Community Calendar, and Liz Gillespie with sports. Thank you for joining us. A handful of comic book stores have been broken into in the area, including Burlington in the last week, with the thieves focused on one thing, a 28-year-old card game. According to Burlington Detective Matthew Creamer, the thieves have targeted Magic the Gathering cards, the game. In Burlington, Counterplay Comics at 279 Cambridge Street was broken into in the early morning of Wednesday, January 6th. Other stores in the area that have also seen break-ins are located in Malden, Quincy, and Somerville. Detective Creamer said police are unsure why the Magic the Gathering cards were the main focus of the break-ins. He noted the shops have many more valuable items that were left untouched. In the Counterplay break-in, he did note a couple of other items, including a Baby Yoda doll, who wouldn't want one, were taken, but said he believed those were opportunistic thefts. He said the Burlington Police Department is working with the departments in the other towns as they try to figure this out, but added the investigation is still in the early stages. He added that at this time they are in the process of gathering the video evidence. Detective Creamer also said that if anyone sees people trying to sell large collections of Magic the Gathering online, to give police a heads up about the offering. With Burlington's current number of COVID-19 cases, the town remains in the red, and according to local health officials, unless behaviors change, that will not change anytime soon. According to the Mass Department of Public Health's most recent town-by-town report, dated January 7, Burlington's percent positivity rate is 7.8%, and the town's average daily incident rate per 100,000 people is 58. Under state guidelines, to be lowered into the yellow zone, the town would need to have a positivity rate under 5%, and for a town this size to have 10 cases per 100,000 people per day or fewer. In Burlington and around the area, that is not the current trend. The previous report had Burlington with a percent positivity rate of 7.5 and a daily case rate of 53. Other towns are seeing similar numbers. Burlington Health Director Susan Luminello said what we're seeing everywhere is the percent positivity rate is rising all over the state, and we will have to see a decline in the number of cases and the decline in the percent rate to go back into yellow. Board of Health Chair Ed Weiner said everyone has to stay vigilant as we wait for a complete rollout of the vaccine in order to keep the community safe. He encouraged people to continue to wear masks, social distancing, and washing their hands. He added that at the current rate of the rollout, people who are not healthcare workers, first responders, elderly, or have underlying conditions may not get vaccinated until June or July. In related news, Burlington Public Schools have reported 5 new cases and 2 probable cases since Tuesday of last week. There was 1 positive case at Fox Hill Elementary School and 4 in Burlington High School. The first high school case was reported last Friday and the other 3 on Monday. According to the school department, 3 students or faculty members who tested positive were not in the building during the contagious period. In letters, Superintendent Conti and Health Director Luminello said the Board of Health immediately began contact tracing to determine who is in close contact, defined as being within 6 feet for more than 10 minutes. Testing has been recommended for all close contacts. However, any close contacts testing negative for COVID-19 must still complete quarantine requirements as issued by the Board of Health. Further, in the confirmed Fox Hill Elementary case, a 5th grade class was closed for 10 days. In the probable cases at Fox Hill, kindergarten was closed, as was a 1st grade classroom at Memorial Elementary. The Burlington Board of Health was vaccinating members of the Burlington Police and Fire Departments against the coronavirus this week. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford went to check it out and files this report.
Starting on Tuesday this week, the Burlington Board of Health was set up in the Murray Kelly Room in the Human Services Building to give Burlington first responders the first dose of a highly anticipated COVID-19 vaccine as part of the state's plan for the rollout. Despite being the first day with a new vaccine, the process went smoothly.
The clinic went really well. We started at 9 o'clock this morning, and we have our last appointments here between 12:20 and 12:30. We're still waiting for a few people to come in, and it's been going pretty well.
Board of Health Chair Dr. Ed Weiner explains why the state and the town are prioritizing first responders.
It's important because those people who are going to come in contact with sick individuals, many individuals who may have COVID, people who need to be transported, people who might need emergency care. We need to vaccinate those people first and to protect them. Those are our first line of protection. Get people to the hospital, and when they're at the hospital to be treated, we got to protect those people, because without those people, we'd be in a lot of trouble.
As for the shot itself, Pollack said it is similar to other types of vaccinations.
Yeah, it's basically almost following like the flu when we have the flu vaccine. So because of COVID, we have to be very careful, how many people we have in the building, and we have appointments set up. So when they come in, every 10 or 15 minutes, they have to get vaccinated. Then they come over here, and we have a waiting area where they have to wait for 15 minutes in case of any allergic reactions. Once they clear that, then they have to leave. Then they leave, and they have to come back 28 days later.
Finally, Dr. Weiner says that when they become available, everyone should get vaccinated so we can beat this pandemic.
Extremely important that everybody gets vaccinated. We've gone this for the flu, and we've shown that we can decrease the number of deaths and the number of morbidity and mortality in this community and this country by getting a vaccine. I know that there is a lot of angst. I know there's a lot of fear about getting a vaccine, but I think we need to do it. We are at a situation where there is 7+% infectivity in Massachusetts. We have had thousands and thousands of deaths, and we have hundreds of thousands of cases. I think we all need to get vaccinated.
In the Human Services Building, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Osford.
It's still early in the process, but the Burlington town election is already getting competitive. Nomination papers became available on January 4, and candidates started pulling papers the first week. In a list of candidates who have taken papers from Town Clerk Amy Warfield's office that was put out midday on Friday, we can see who has thrown their hat into the ring already. Warfield herself was up for re-election, has taken out papers, as well as Town Moderator Bill Byer. In the Board of Selectmen race, there are 2 seats up this year. Current members Joe Morandi and Mike Ryan have pulled papers, as has current town meeting member Sherry Ellis, making this the first race to be competitive in 2021. Incumbent Martha Simon is so far the only person to pull papers for the open position on the school committee. Incumbent Paul Sheehan has pulled papers to be an assessor. Finally, newcomer Michael Kelly is so far the only person to have pulled papers for the one open seat on Shawshene Tech School Committee. Some town meeting members have already pulled papers as well, but no races are yet contested. The January town meeting is set to begin on the 25th, and as it has for the last 2 sessions, it will look different than in the past years due to the pandemic. BNEWS Director Rich Osford asked Town Administrator Paul Sagarino about the plans for this month's meeting, and here is what he had to say about that.
Town clerk and our moderator have the situation under control. They're really doing a great job in trying to, again, deal with our upcoming town meeting. It's going to be a mostly virtual town meeting. We do have some town meeting members that have challenges with technology, whether they don't have access to internet or computers. So we will be making accommodations for them up at the high school and safely under the rules of the Board of Health, safely separated so that they can participate in the meeting as well. But we do expect that the majority of the meeting will be held virtually on a WebEx format, similar to what we did the last time.
BHS athletes gathered at Tony C's in small groups to cheer on their Red Devils as the girls and boys hockey teams took on the Wilmington Wildcats, with the game being shown on the restaurant's TV. BNews reporter John Villas went to see the action and has this look.
Over the past year, many public events around the world have been canceled or postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With spectator sports being a prime example of a fan-favorite pastime with new social limits, on Wednesday, January 6th, BHS students and fans were invited to Tony C's on 3rd Avenue as the boys and girls hockey teams took on the Wilmington Wildcats in 2 back-to-back matchups. Both games were live-streamed from the Ice Palace through BCAT's Facebook and shown at Tony C's, giving fans a chance to leave their homes for a night and root for the Devils in a safe manner, while indulging in some fine comfort food.
You know, the MIAA ruled for the Freedom Division, which is the Burlington and local schools. The decision was that no spectators allowed in any of the winter sport games. So hockey, basketball, etc. We saw the opportunity of, possibly, giving that game feel like, maybe sitting with another family 6 feet apart with masks on, but, at least sharing the game spirit together with other families, watching your children play.
Recently, our BCAT crew has been live streaming various high school sporting events via Facebook, giving friends and family the opportunity to still cheer on their favorite student athletes from home and outside the state. A collaboration between BCAT and Burlington High School's athletic director, Sean Hart.
Obviously, with COVID happening, we had to make a few decisions on how we wanted to get the parents involved in the games. Obviously, we limited numbers of fans because of safety concerns and protocols that were in place by the state. So in having to limit the number of fans, we still wanted the kids to be able to perform and everybody get to watch. So bringing in the live stream just made it important to us to be able to produce a product that anybody could watch from their own homes and not feel like they were missing it.
And BHS students entered the restaurant wearing white to show their support while the Devils were on the ice.
Well, we usually have themed games when we could actually go to games in general life. So this year we decided just to have a whiteout to bring some school spirit back to the games, which we can't go to this year.
I think it makes us feel more normal, being able to watch the game together, even though we're not all sitting together, and all wear a color that shows support for our team.
As the town navigates through the pandemic during the age of social media, streaming has become the way of the future.
I think that live streaming, obviously in today's day and age, again, with COVID aside, I think live streaming is a tremendous idea because there's no reason that somebody's grandmother who lives in California shouldn't be able to watch a game because they can't be here. I think it's an amazing tool, and I think we have to figure out ways to cultivate it and make it better.
We have the big screens, so we're putting the game up. I mean, we're just beginning this idea, and we may not have the volume on, for other guests that might be in the restaurant, but it's nice to see local towns, Burlington, for instance, on the big screen right next to an NHL hockey game or right next to the Celtics or maybe even the Patriots.
From the Burlington Ice Palace to Tony C's on 3rd Avenue, this is John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
The results of a survey conducted by Burlington Public Schools on switching learning modes is being touted as a sign of success in the first half of the school year. Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin told the school committee on Tuesday that the number of families who opted to switch from either full remote learning to the hybrid model or from hybrid to remote was lower than they thought it might be prior to the survey. He said this shows that most families are happy with how the first half of the school year was conducted. In total, 10 elementary school students switched from hybrid to remote and 17 from remote to hybrid. Larkin said that with over 1,600 elementary school students in the system, a total of 27 is a good indication the majority of people were satisfied with the mode that they had chosen at the start of the school year. In the middle school, 18 students requested to switch, and Larkin said all were accommodated on the first day back after break. In the high school, the numbers were a bit higher, but some students have decided to stay in their original mode after initially requesting a change. Principal Mark Sullivan said that initially approximately 50 students expressed an interest in switching, mostly from hybrid to remote. Each student is having a meeting with Counseling Director Joe Adebato before committing to the change, and already 25 have decided to stay with the hybrid model. A bright spot from 2020 was the People Helping People Capital Grill Raffle, which organizers hail as the best year ever for the annual fundraiser. The town of Burlington has always supported the People Helping People organization and the Burlington Food Pantry. However, according to People Helping People board member Janet Sullivan, in 2020 the community really made an effort to champion the cause. She called the support the organization received off the charts. Sullivan said the Burlington residents' Facebook page was a big part of this year's contribution, which more than doubled the yearly average. She said every time she posted the ticket, sales would pick up. The winning ticket was pulled the first week of January. Even with restaurants facing troubled times, Capitol Grill is set to provide its usual donation of a dinner for 6 with their fine wine. Capitol Grill managing partner Adam Mackler spoke on their yearly contributions. And he said, "We've been a part of People Helping People raffle for 10 years. It is one of our favorite charities that we work with that does so much for our community." Funds raised by the raffle go to the Burlington Food Pantry to provide families and seniors with gift cards. Sullivan explained that based on the number of people in a given family, they receive gift cards with enough to buy food for the whole family. Janet praised the generosity and outpouring of donations and in the support of businesses in Burlington during a year when many have struggled. BNEWS Health and Fitness community partner Lifetime helps take the complexity out of getting and staying happy and healthy in 2021. Let's take a look.
Normal temperature.
We're done with 2020. We can stop talking about it now. We're moving on to 2021, brand new year. The first step in evaluating our goals and coming up with a good plan for 2021 is to self-reflect. So really become self-aware of what we're doing now, what's worked for us last year, what hasn't worked for us, and what we really want and what intentions we have for the new year. Honestly, within any goal that you set, writing it down is going to be one of the best ways to keep yourself accountable. You don't even have to just write it down for yourself. You can post it on Facebook. You can tell your friends and family. You can set dates to check in with yourself or have dates that your friends and family check in with you to say, hey, how's your yoga journey coming? How is your strength training coming along? Have you met with that personal trainer yet? A good goal will have more than just, oh, I want to be fit in the new year. We need to come up with a plan to get there, and we need it to be specific. So maybe I want to try a new group fitness class twice a month until June. That now has more direction, and it has a time-based plan so that you can also check in with yourself. At the end of February, have I only taken one class? Maybe this isn't a goal that's going to actually work for my lifestyle. 2020 not only took a toll on everyone physically, but it took a toll on everyone mentally. So there's more than just physical goals that we can come up with for 2021. Taking care of our mental and emotional health is going to be really important this year. So here at Lifetime, one of the best things that we have to look forward to is our amazing communities. They're not just in the cycle, studio, or yoga classrooms. They're also up on the fitness floor training. They're in swim lessons. They're at Kids Academy. These are people who you're going to see, we want to be healthy, we want to stay safe, and we want to keep up our healthy and fitness goals. Whatever goal you have set, we have community pages for you to keep in touch, keep yourself accountable, and maybe someone else shares that same goal that you can connect with here. We also have personal trainers that are going to be able to give you a complimentary session, set you up with goals that are specific not just to you, but to the building. Which equipment to use, when to use it, how to structure your workouts. We've amped up our cleaning protocols. We have more cleaning stations. All of our members are now fully aware of what cleaning opportunities we have, so our equipment has never looked better. It's never been safer to come to the gym. Here at Lifetime, and just in life, our biggest message is to be kind to yourself. Don't hold yourself to these crazy high expectations and feel upset when you fall short. It's okay. You're trying something new, and the most important thing is just to try.
That have been cleared to play have been hard at work this winter season. For all the latest action, we go now to BNews sports reporter Liz Gillespie for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie for your weekly sports report. The Burlington High winter sports teams are hitting high gear and we have the scoop, so let's get to it. The Lady Devils basketball team had their home opener against the Wildcats on Saturday, January 9th at BHS. We have some highlights, so let's check those out.
Basketball team faced off against the Wilmington Wildcats on Saturday, January 9th at BHS. Let's get to the action. In the first period, the Lady Devils put up 10 points, while the Wildcats were ahead with 11. During the second period, the Ladies turned it up a little bit as both teams added an additional 12 points. In the third period, the ladies took over most of the game as they added 11 more points to take the lead, and the Wildcats added 5. In the final period, Burlington added another 8 additional points, while Wilmington only added 2. We talked to Coach McKay after the game.
I mean, it's obviously great to have a game second week in a row, especially in this season when we don't know kind of where we're headed. So it was nice to get back in the gym and be able to get a home game under our belts. Obviously, we'd prefer to be in our main court, but, Rubber Gym's true home court advantage here. So it was nice. It was nice to have the seniors start the game and kind of have them get that feel, that first home game, and kind of get into a rhythm.
The final in this game was 43-30 Burlington.
Burlington continues the season undefeated at 2-0 and will travel to Stoneham to take on the Spartans on Monday, January 18th. Red Devils basketball headed to Wilmington to face the Wildcats at WHS. Burlington athletes junior forward Shane Mahoney put up 24 points. Senior guard captain Justin Barrows had 15 points. Senior forward and captain Sean McLaughlin had 12 points, and junior guard captain Tyler Williams had 9. The boys beat the Wildcats 75-54 and currently stand at 2-0. They will host the Stoneham Spartans on Monday, January 18th at BHS. This game will be live streamed on the BCAT Facebook page at noon. Boys hockey traveled to Russia Memorial Arena in Wilmington on Saturday, January 9th. Senior forward Sean Malone put in 2 goals for the Devils, while senior defender Ray Magliozzi had 1, and senior forward Jack Jay had 4. Burlington improves to 2-0 on the season and will host Stoneham on January 18th at the Ice Palace. This game will be live streamed on the BCAT Facebook page at 3:30 p.m. Lady Devils hockey were scheduled to play the Stoneham Melrose team on Wednesday, January 13th. However, that game has been canceled. They will now verse the Spartans on the 18th in Stoneham. Lady Devils gymnastics kicked off the season against the Reading Rockets on Thursday, January 14th. We have some highlights, so let's check those out.
The Burlington Lady Devils gymnastics team had their home opener against the Reading Rockets on Thursday, January 14th at BHS. The girls did very well against the Rockets as they came out in a victory score of 139.9 and Reading had 137.75. Although everyone was wearing a mask while competing that night, the team enjoyed being back together once again. For BNEWS Sports, I'm Robert Paris.
BHS cross-country senior James Johnson has been awarded the Boston Herald All-Scholastic and the Boston Globe All-Stars for his performance on the BHS boys cross-country/track team. BNews sports reporter Robert Paris has more.
Throughout the years, the Burlington Red Devils saw a wide variety of runners for boys cross-country. Paul Hogan, Rashad Prakash, and current senior James Johnson. Johnson has followed in the footsteps of Prakash and has received records and personal bests during his time on the team. Now, he was given the Boston Herald All-Scholastic and the Boston Globe All-Stars.
There was no All-States, so the Globe came up with a new formula. I don't know exactly what it was, but created both their All-Scholastics and then an All-Star squad. The Herald talked to some coaches. I know some of the coaches they talked to. In James's case, it was straightforward in that he was undefeated in the Middlesex League, so he was the best athlete coming out of Middlesex League Freedom. Last year, he was third at the Middlesex League meet, and the other 2 kids graduated. So I think it was a pretty obvious selection. Probably what he had going against him is the one invitational he ran, and these were not part of the MIAA schedule. He didn't have a great race, and that's where they compared a lot of the kids from across the state.
My coach was saying I got All-Scholastic from the Globe, and this year I got the All-Star and All-Scholastic from the Herald. So it's really nice to be able to get recognition for what I've done, and also to see other people that I've raced with, maybe not every single week, but on the higher stage, look at them, that they have the same recognition that I do, and be able to see that there's so many people like me that put in the work and have it pay off.
In 2019, Rashad Prakash departed from the team, which gave James Johnson an opportunity to step up to the plate.
The plus side of it is you have someone to train with, you have someone to shoot for, you have someone who you can learn from, how it's done and how it's done right. So in James's case, he was following it sort of in the footsteps of Rashad Prakash. And then when James started to break Rashab's cross-country age grade records, I think that sort of opened up his mind to what he could accomplish.
Originally, the indoor track season was going to begin in January. However, with cases on the rise in Massachusetts and indoor track facilities being closed, the MIAA decided to push it back to Fall Session 2 in February.
The MIA does what the MIA does, and sort of seems like rules changed when they wanted to get basketball and hockey in, but track didn't get to go in, and now we'll start our season on February 22nd. To go a year in between track meets is really, really difficult, and there will be kids like James who have been doing a lot of training on their own, and then there will be kids who have done no training, and that's going to be sort of a tough transition for them.
It's honestly a bummer. It obviously is, but I think personally, and for a lot of kids on the team, we don't do track for the competitions. We do it because we love to run. So as long as we still have roads, we can run outside. So the season's still there, so we still have the chance to run. So I'm looking forward to it.
As the offseason continues, Johnson is gearing up for his last few months as a senior and is continuing to enjoy his time with the team.
The team that we built here and the culture that we have here is really enjoyable. Being able to grow up and being able to be mentored by other kids on the team that were higher than me, and as a senior, being able to mentor other kids and just being able to build that team was really nice, and I really am going to miss it. But as I go on and as I run in college, it'll be that same team, so it'll be nice.
Obviously, we'll miss James. We miss all of our runners, and he's been in the top tier. But that's the nature of coaching. You lose kids every year, and then it will be the job of the next group to step up. If we're going to continue to be successful, they'll step up. If not, then I'll really start to miss James.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Be sure to follow the BNews Sports Twitter for more at BNews Sports, and check out the Sports Hub page at bcattv.org. That's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Liz Gillespie. Back to you guys in the studio.
Up next is weatherman Peter Brown for the latest forecast to see what's in store for the week ahead. We'll then also check out the community calendar with Chris Flaherty to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are going into the heart of January and into the heart of winter. Now, starting on our period on Friday, we're actually going to see temperatures that are about 10 degrees above average, and actually we might even best that by a few degrees. Stepping out there on Friday, it's going to look really nice out there. Temperatures in the mid and upper 40s, so a nice reprieve from winter as we are in here in the middle of winter again. And as we round out our period getting on to next Thursday, we're going to be looking for temperatures at this time of the year only to be in the low to mid 30s, and this is again the absolute coldest time of the year meteorologically speaking, so our temperatures, average highs and average lows, only start going up from here on out. So that's some great news, and we're going to end out the period again with highs above average, probably around 40 again, so pretty nice out there, nothing really too crazy. And of course, as we look at the length of day, our days are starting to get longer by the minute, so that is great. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation coming up for the next 7 to 10 days. Looking at temperatures, again, very similar to what we've been seeing really since going back to almost the week of Christmas. Temperatures are going to be at or slightly above average, and that will be definitely reflected in the 7-day forecast that comes up in a little bit. And as we look at our precipitation chances, really nothing too crazy and wild here, about average chances, and we're going to see that with a little bit more in the way of maybe a little bit of rain and maybe some flurries as we get into this 7-day forecast as opposed to the last one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that 7-day forecast coming up. And again, starting out our period on Friday, it's going to be pretty nice out there. Temperatures in the mid and upper 40s with some sunshine, maybe a few clouds around, so that's going to feel like a great day if you're going to be out and about in the Burlington area. Now, getting into Saturday, looks like we could see maybe a few wet snowflakes out there early on Saturday morning, and then turning to maybe a steady light rain as we head to the rest of the day. And temperatures, again, in the mid to probably upper 40s. We may actually see a couple of areas that touch 50, so that's some great news. Now, as we get into the rest of the weekend, temperatures are going to cool back down, a little bit down to where they should be at this time of the year, down into the upper 30s again. And as we get into Martin Luther King Day, on Monday, we're actually going to be seeing our temperatures continuing to slide a little bit, and we're going to be watching a storm passing, we think, to our south again. We might get some scattered flurries, but that's going to be more likely as you head towards Boston and south of Boston. So it looks like it's going to be another hit in terms of the midst of this storm again. So that's great. And we're missing those snowstorms quite a bit after we had that snowy December. And as we go on through the rest of the week, looks like our temperatures are going to be pretty average to averaging out a little bit higher as we get towards the end of the week, temperatures reaching up to near 40. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Flaherty with your community calendar, filling in for Jolie Atwood, who is out this week. He was an innocent man. On Thursday, January 21st at 6:30 p.m., the Friends of the Burlington Public Library will be having a virtual program called Innocent Yet Imprisoned for 32 Years with Victor Rosario. Pre-registrations is required and everyone is welcome to attend virtually. To register, go to burlington.org. Get rid of some of those household items. On January 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Elite Realty Group is having a big donation event at the 101 Cambridge Street parking lot. Please call Meredith at 978-808-3499. It's a great day to go for a walk. On January 24th, Mary Cummings Park will be having an early winter walk. Space is limited and pre-registration is required. For questions and more information, contact Kate Bibbo at kbibbo@thetrustees.org or call 978-607-1133. I'm Chris Flaherty, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo is totally radical. It is from the Burlington Public Library and features young adult librarian Nicole Monk holding up Courtney, the library's newest American Girl doll that patrons can borrow. Courtney is a cool 80s girl, so Nicole wanted to match her style. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your holiday activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments, whatever you think is interesting and want to share with us and the community. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, John Vias, Peter Brown, Chris Flaherty, and Liz Gillespie. Thank you for joining us.